All right, good evening on this Motzei Shabbos edition of All Iyun Mishna. We're going to be talking about Iyun HaMishnayos. We're dealing today with Perek Beis, Mishnayos Gimel and Dalid. This Chiddush is really brought up. Um, One of the Mefarshim over here talks about this. This is a question that I've had. I haven't had this, but now I'm thinking about this question. It really makes sense. We've been saying up until now that all of these Stam Mishnayos are basically according to Rabbi Akiva. Akiva holds that there's a din from the Torah that you have to extend the Isra Shemitah to the Harisha, to the plowing before Shemitah, and the Ksira after Shemitah, harvesting things that grew inadvertently during Shemitah, or someone did an Isra and did an Avera and grew something during Shemitah, you're not allowed to harvest that. And even in the eighth year, that is according to Rabbi Akiva explicit in the Torah. So Sheviis in the Torah. And according to Rabbi Akiva, that's why the Mishnah say up until you're only allowed to plow fruit trees until in the sixth year, up until Shavuos. After that, you're not allowed to. Stay alavan only until Pesach. And then the Mishnah has detailed certain things you're allowed to do. We explained if they're only Yisurim D'Rabbanan, you're allowed to do them until Rosh Hashanah, according to Rabbi Akiva. But according to Rabbi Shmuel, who we paskin like, who these Mishnahs are not like, everything is mutter until Shemitah. There's no concept of Shemitah. When it says Bechar Shel Kazer Tishbos in the Torah, that's talking about, that's just coming to tell you about Ksiras HaOmer, that Ma Harisha Rishus, the only thing you're forbidden to do on Shabbos, it's not talking about Shemitah. On Shabbos, you're allowed to plow when it's not a mitzvah, or harvest when it's not a mitzvah, but you got to harvest the Omer, the barley offering you're going to bring, it's a Korban HaOmer, you're going to bring on Ted Zayin Nisan, the second day of Pesach, you're going to bring that, that you're allowed to do on Shabbos. You're allowed to harvest it on Shabbos, even though it's a malacha. You're allowed to do it because that's what the Torah is telling you. You're allowed to do it. According to Rabbi Shmuel, there's no basis for Tosefes Shemitah. All these Mishnayos don't really apply. Everything you can do up until Shemitah. But there is a concept we've had of Eser Netios, Sinai, right? Eser Netios, you're allowed to plow as long as you have a field that has 10 young sapling trees. You're allowed to plow that field until Rosh Hashanah. That's halacha l'Moshe Sinai. If they're 10 grown trees, they have to produce something. 10 young trees, even if they're not producing anything, and they're in a small area, 50 amos by 50 amos, you're allowed to plow them to Rosh Hashanah. It's a special heter halacha l'Moshe Sinai. We don't know the reason really behind that. Why do you need the halacha l'Moshe Sinai according to Rabbi Shmuel? According to Rabbi Shmuel, there's no Tosefes Shemitah. Just like Eser Netios is a mutter. Everything's mutter. So I think we're forced to say that an interesting idea over here that, right, the poskim talk about this thing. There's a forbidden on Shabbos, for example, to plant something on Shabbos. Not to plant on Shabbos. Now, what happens if I plant before Shabbos and then it starts growing on Shabbos, or I plant on Shabbos and it starts growing after Shabbos? Do we go after the Zriya or the Hashrasha? Do we go after it when it starts to take root, or do we just go after when you actually put the seeds in the ground and you cover them with dirt? So, I think Rabbi Shmuel is taking a stance on this. I think, according to Rabbi Shmuel, we'd be saying that you're right. There's no Isra of Tosefes Shemitah, but there is an Isra. It would seem from Rabbi Shmuel that the Isra, if you plant something for the fruit itself, you plant it, you do plowing a field during the sixth year, and something grows during the seventh year, that would be a problem. Because you go after the growing of the fruits. The fruits grew during the seventh year, even though you did everything in the sixth year. So all Rishmal means not to have a Shemitah, he means to plant something or to plow something that will grow something during the sixth year. There's no issue to have a Shemitah, because Shemitah only applies the seventh year, not before, not after. But if you're going to do something and the effect of what you're doing is going to happen during the seventh year, that would be a problem. And that would explain these Mishnayos over here, according to Rabbi Shmuel also, that when you're doing it, these Mishnayos are talking about you're fixing the tree not to make the fruit any better, just so the tree doesn't get ruined. You want to fix the tree, so fixing the tree during the sixth year, it's going to be mutter until Rosh Hashanah. He's obviously, according to Rabbi Shmuel, it would make a lot of sense. You don't have to say it according to Rabbi Shmuel, because he's only concerned, his only Yisra of Shemitah is to grow crops during the seventh year. So when you're doing it for the sake of the tree, and it's during the sixth year, But it's not going to produce any better produce. So there's no chash of leading to produce during the 7th year. So of course these things are mutter according to Rabbi Shmuel. And again, these mishnayos are only according to Rabbi Akiva. According to Rabbi Shmuel, we don't need to teach me these things because anything that's for the tree, it's not going to help grow produce during the 7th year. For sure, would be okay. Just more of an explanation, make it clear what's going on. And according to Rabbi Akiva, we say the reason these things, like the Rav Bartanura said, is that because these things are only a drabanan to fix the tree during Shemitah is only drabanan, so they weren't go during the 7th Shemitah. That would be a clearer explanation of this Mishnayos. Hope you enjoyed it.